Welcome to episode 5 of the Mr. and Mrs. podcast. This topic is something that's very, very strong topic. I think we're going to do a couple parts on this, episodes on this. The root of all evil, destroys families, also builds families. None other than money. Good old money. Money, 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 money. I wanted to dive into deeper questions about money. That's why I think that we'll have to do a bunch of episodes on this.
I think there's just like so much to talk about when it comes to money.
Yeah, it's endless.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought that the deeper questions, about like how we feel about money, first encounter, stuff like that, is good, because that'll give us kind of a foundation of how we feel about money. So we're gonna just dive into some questions, and then let it rock, Nicole.
So what is your first encounter with money, and when did you realize the power of it?
I feel
like those are two different questions, though, babe.
Well,
I would say, when was your first encounter with money?
No, because those I have an answer for the questions. My first encounter with money is pretty much being a kid, and your father would give you whatever, $5, that you'd have for a couple days or maybe a day. And you spend it frivolous and then realize, damn, I could have got this, I could have got that. And then the more affluent kids or kids that came around that had more money, that their parents gave them, they would be like the center of attraction. The kid, like people would just be trying to get, hey, buy me this, buy me that. So I think that was like, being very young, because that's when I think of it, is just seeing the power, that it had over people, like as a kid,
When I read that question, my mind went to, when was my first encounter with like my own money, like making my own money?
Yeah, I just mean money in general.
Yeah, I mean, when I was little, probably, and like your parents would give you money to go to the movies, or
right, but you never had like the one, like maybe like an uncle, or even like dad or mom's friend that had money and people were like kissing their ass, or you know what I mean?
That was like my mom in the family.
Right. So it's different for everyone. But when you have your first encounter with money, I think there's always.
I had like friends that I knew had more money than like money that I came from. But like, yeah, I mean, of course I'd be like, okay, cool. They, I don't know, like got to shop at like expensive stores. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's different for girls, I think, too. Possibly. Just because girls tend to get a little more spoiled than boys or growing up. But I just know that, once you had money or, your encounter with as a kid, and then you realize like kids have more money and they had more friends. Not that the kids liked them, but.
I definitely knew like who had more money than me. Like, because even if they weren't like people who were like bragging about it or showing off, you just like would know, like if you go to their house or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? Like the kids that like if they came to the movies and their parents would give them like $40 to spend at the movies for like candy, you knew they had more money than like parents who were like giving their kids like $10 to spend at the movies, kind of thing.
Right.
I feel like I noticed it in that sense, but
right, that's what I mean. That's why I think that the question, it is different. You're right, but it goes hand in hand because you literally just said it. Right, I went to the movies. The kids have more pop. That's like when you realize, I feel the power of it. You couldn't get the popcorn.
I guess
popcorn is always the most expensive.
I saw it as like power, though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a little deep, for a kid, but you came to the realization of like, they got shit, I don't got shit. Mm-hmm. And again, you're a kid, you're not like, whoa, it's powerful. You're just like, I dig it. I need like,
Yeah, I think when we get into this more though, it's going to be interesting because I feel like there was kids in my like grade school, whatever, that I hung out with that definitely had more money than me. But my mom was the kind of person that she's like, okay, you know that book I'm reading, like Your Rich Life or whatever?
Yeah.
So his thing is, like, you can spend money on the things that you like. So like if you had a hobby of like flying helicopters, like you would budget other areas of your life, but you still get to like invest in that expensive hobby of yours, right? Like you live your rich life. I feel like for my mom, she definitely lived through that mindset where it was like she was going to live like her rich life. So for her, it's like you don't need to spend $40 on popcorn or the movies or I don't know, like dumb shit like that, just whatever, like toys. But she would be like, I'll spend that same money on like clothes. Because she loves clothes. She loves shoes. So I feel like even though in those situations, if I didn't have like my mom giving me money to go to the movies, like I somehow like had something that the kids didn't either.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Most of the kids, not being rude, that had more money were cornballs.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I realized it was a power thing, because the corniest kids were the kids that everybody's like, oh, doing whatever they wanted because they just wanted money. They wanted, to get like candy, whatever it was.
I feel like kids didn't act like that at my school though. I don't know.
I'm talking about.
And we're from Fairfield, and I feel like it's like a wealthier Fairfield County, whatever. I really don't.
You're from Fairfield. I'm talking about being maybe like 9, 10 years old in New York, living in New York, West.
Okay, I was living in Stamford.
Damn.
Well, actually, I don't know. I might have been. I would think I was in Fairfield by then. But no, what isn't Stanford? Stanford was like ghetto, no?
Back then, yeah.
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 I don't know. I'm just kidding. I love Stanford so much. But
Stanford's one of the most expensive places to live in Fairfield County.
Yeah. Can we talk about when your first encounter with like your own money was?
Yeah, I mean,
because I feel like there's a different kind of power with that.
You can go first because I have to think about that.
I mean, I would say my first encounter with like my own money was probably when I got like my first job. And I think my first job was just like babysitting, and I would babysit for like families in like Greenwich, and I was making, no joke, as like a 17-year-old, probably like $400 to $600 a week.
It's a lot.
So it was a lot for me, but I was working a lot. Like I always knew like you had to work for money, like you had to work hard. I was working every single day, like Monday through Friday, like after school, just like staying with the kids, getting them, like making them dinner, whatever, until their parents got home from the city. But yeah, I was making like $400 to $600 a week as like a 17-year-old, which was like a lot of money. Ask me what the fuck I did with that money.
Yeah, you felt rich.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, it definitely went to like gas and just like going out to eat with friends. And like I remember I would like pay for all my friends because they didn't have money to go out to eat. That's
frivolous. Right? I mean,
yeah, that was definitely my first encounter with like money. But again, I don't think I like realized like
with your own money. With my own money. With your own money. My first encounter with my own money, no doubt, and I just remember this story. I'll never forget me and some kid when we were in like 7th grade or 8th grade. We were at BJ's and they had the big tub of Double Bubble, and I was like, I'm like, that's pretty cheap. The Double Bubble was like, I don't know, a couple bucks, and I told my mom, I'm like, why don't I buy that? It was like I had money from whatever, Christmas, birthday. And I'm like, I could buy that. It wasn't Double Bubble. It was, remember Gush, like the gum that you'd bite into and it was like jelly in the middle? I forget the name of it. Anyways, I'm like,
those probably don't exist anymore.
No, they do. I forget the name of it. We'll put it in the caption maybe. I was like, we can flip these, it's like $5 for the thing. I did the math. I'm like, we could literally make like $50, and we brought it to school and it was an instant hit and we made $50 in like 2 days. That was my first encounter with my own money.
I had a lot of those situations too. I feel like Paula's told you about that, where I would like sew things. Like I didn't even know how to I would sell everything and anything that I had in my house.
Of course.
But I feel like that wasn't like a lot of money. Like I would just make like $10, $20 here and there. Like my first like real encounter with money is when I got like a job babysitting. But yeah, I definitely had those moments too. Like where you would go to Costco or BJ's and buy like the big things of chocolate bars. We would go door to door and sell them for like $1 each and make money off the box. Yeah. Lemonade stands. I remember I like once had a lemonade stand. I think it was in Stamford when I lived in Stamford, and I made so much money.
Hustling as a kid. Love it.
Yeah. Like I've definitely had like my fair share of lemonade stands.
They're
Did
lucrative.
You do that? Like, is that a boy
the little
thing
girls driving by, cute. Nah, boys were not really. I know kids who did, but we would knock, like the best was when it would snow out and you'd have a snow day. We would just go, make so much money. We'd just knock on doors. Hey, you need your driveway shovel? $50. And we'd do, 8 driveways. I guess I was doing cold therapy then too, because my feet would be frozen, or leaves, stuff like that. And we would make a killing off that. We'd make, a few $100s in a day. I mean, backbreaking work, but that's what boys do more stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Lemonade stands for when you're so young, though. But how can you resist? You drive by these cute little girls, they're like, a lemonade. And you're like,
I know when I got older and started driving, I remember I would drive by. Like anytime I drive by, like kids doing lemonade. Except now, people don't carry cash. So now I don't carry cash
Yeah.
ever. So
Now,
now that I do it, I'm like, fuck, I can't buy your lemonade.
now some little girl Rose is gonna pull up and be like, "It's okay, I have Apple Pay."
Yeah, that would be my kids. My kids are gonna have Apple Pay. There's gonna be a QR code.
I like to judge. Don't judge me, but you know when I buy the lemonade from them, they're like a little sweet, huh? You know.
You love sweet. First time someone ever taught you about saving money and what it meant to save.
Are you able to go first on that? I have to digest that as well.
I think I can go first on that, but we just have to remember that my answers are not well thought out. So I want to say, honestly, I did not know about saving money until after college, until I got like a full-time job. And even then, the only money I saved was like the 401k or whatever that you would get through work. And then when I quit my full-time job and started my business, I actually learned a lot about saving through social media and my ex-boyfriend, because he was one of those people that, and I'm sure we all like know someone like that we were talking about this the other day, who's just like saved since their first job in like high school, since like the first dollar he's ever made. Like that's just, yeah, some people are like that, where they just save every penny since like their job that was paying them $7 an hour. They've saved like 10%, whatever. So he's the one who told me about saving 10% of every paycheck, and like kind of got me into like thinking about that. And then through social media, I would like follow accounts, take courses, learn more about that. And that's when I really got like educated on like how much you should be saving, what that would look like for your future, all of that. But really,
that was later in life though for you.
Yeah, I was like 24 or 23.
We've had very different dynamics in that aspect. I feel like I learned so much or absorbed so much and saw so much about money or with money handling like as a kid. You know, because the saving thing, I remember my brother, he's always been very good saver, and I wasn't or haven't been. And I was just frugal, and you'd see my brother for Christmas, you know, let's say we get $500. I would get $500. Whatever I'd buy,
Sneakers.
right? Sneakers, Jordans, whatever, anything I could buy. And then I'd have no money. And then, you know, come whatever, my brother always, you know, he had money, you know, and I realized like, wow, like you can save it or you can spend it now or you can save it, you know. My brother got shoebox money. He still got his lunch money.
Yeah, I was not like that. I don't think my sister was like that either, though. We just like spent our money.
Yeah, I think there's always been uncles. My dad's always been big on, you know, you got to save, and it kind of went in one ear and out the other. My dad was like that too. Yeah, it went in one ear and out the other. But later on, you know, as I got older, definitely my brother has always been the one, like, you know, to teach about savings, what it means, because
like he taught you.
It's easy.
Or you just
I just absorbed. I always thought like, oh, he's cheap, but no, he's smart, right?
That's what I used to say about my dad. Yeah,
right. And I spoke to your dad about this. It's easy to get money, but it's hard to keep it. Mm-hmm. That's very simple. It's so easy to get money, especially in this day and age. Forget about it. But like keeping the money, saving the money is what's hard. You know, you see all these people, and I see it at first hand, especially in the mortgage business, people killing it in 2020, 2021, crushing it, making so much money and broke, you know, today, or complaining today. It's just, you know.
Yeah, that's something that's one of the good things about social media, I think, is because you can use social media. So many people are against it, but I'm like, you choose who you follow. You choose like what your algorithm's feeding you. They feed you what you like to see. So I try to really just follow pages that will like teach me something that's like inspirational, motivational, whatever. I follow a lot of pages about like money and saving and just like deals and this and that, because I know I'm not good at that I need to like learn and be like proactive about what I'm doing with my money. And that's something that I feel like is important, is like saving it and just like where to put it and what to do with it. There's a lot of people that are not financially literate, and like their parents maybe weren't, so they're not, and they don't teach you this shit in school. So it's like, you have to learn it for yourself. It's so important. Do
you know what a fuck you savings account is?
No.
It's basically money you have that you're never going to need to use, and you just have it there. It's just a fuck you account. That's what they call it, right? Best thing to do, I would say, this is advice out there. If you
We're not allowed to give legal, what is it?
We're not, we're not. I'm definitely not giving you financial advice. Is if you have money, like, I see it so much with my clients where they'll have 100 grand sitting in a savings account, right? For years. Put that in a high yield savings account, especially now. Now we're, kind of a little bit in a recession. I don't know. They say we're not, but the harder like it is out there, meaning, during COVID, everybody's making money. The rates go up. So when interest rates go up in terms of like, lending and borrowing, they also go up from savings. So you put it, I think Amex is paying 4.5 points right now on your money. So that means you put 100 grand in there or whatever it is, it's going to build money. Mm-hmm. Your money's not going to build sitting in a bank. They give you like 0.00001 on a dollar, which is nothing. They probably charge more in fees.
Yeah, but that's a lot of the information that like a lot of people don't know. And, you can learn about that and I've learned honestly so much about what I know through social media or through a book that someone recommended on social media.
Just call me. I'll get you pre-approved for a mortgage and then I'll show you how to move your savings into a high yield savings account.
Excellent.
This isn't legal advice.
It's not.
Nick Caparoso 1481262 NMLS. How did your parents view money from your perspective and did it have any effect on you?
Yes.
My parents, generally my dad, I think he viewed money from a very anxiety-ridden type of place. He worked very hard. Someone screwed him over. He was trying to go into a hat business. I just learned this not too long ago after he passed. And they basically got him for like 60, 70,000, which back then was how much. And he thought he was going into business with them. And they kind of scammed him on his money. So I don't know if that's what, because he was always like, don't invest, don't take risks. I think that is something in his life that, shifted and changed the whole dynamic of his relationship with money. But I, growing up, was always like, felt like we didn't have it or nervous to ask him. So I would say it was more of like an anxiety, just, oh my God, do we have enough money kind of mindset, I think. My mom, she was more like a housemaker. So I don't really think she had,
Mm-hmm. She was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, a stay-at-home mom. But from what it was money was always like, oh, it's money. It's serious. This is money. Don't fuck it up. You you do the right thing with it. It was very just, oh my God, if you blow money, my dad would be very upset. It's a very serious thing, And I think the effect it had on me is, even to this day, I can make a lot of money and I just always have that. I don't know if it's just, that's from the struggle probably, but I just always have that in my mind. Like, it just makes an impression on you. Oh, this is serious and might not be here. Oh my God, we don't have enough money type, mentality. And I kind of think it's good in that aspect because I'm a little, people say, oh, you have this and that. I'm a little apprehensive to spend on stuff because I think that was implanted in me, because I see people buy $1,000 Gucci shoes. I want them, but thanks to dad, I'm like, I don't think so.
Oh my God.
So it had an effect. I think it had a negative effect with somewhat of a positive.
Like negative.
With somewhat of a positive twist.
I was going to say, I've heard some, like, of the people that I follow. I don't want to quote anyone. I don't know if it was like Bradley, Grant Cardone. Like, I don't fucking know. One of those people that I follow, they've said it's actually good to have a mindset like, no, you don't have money. Like, even if you're having like your best year in business, it's like, no, you don't have money. Like, have that mindset because, like you said earlier, there's so many people that feel like, yeah, okay, I have more money. And then they spend more money and then they really don't end up having more money.
Make a lot of money, dress bummy. And what? Styles P. Is that it?
I wore his sweater.
So my mom, when, my parents went to divorce, she was just why do we don't have money? Obviously, because she's codependent. We don't have money. And she was just, over the top about it. So that's why I think it was more of a negative, but it had a positive twist. Because like you say, it is good to feel that way, right? A lot of people we know, not naming names, have a lot of money and say, I don't have no money. I'm broke. We're not making money. We're in a nonprofit organization, nonprofit business.
My parents, it was like, so my parents got divorced when I was a lot younger. So I didn't really understand a lot about money when I was younger. But what I remember is that my dad was a huge saver. And I used to be like, you're so fucking cheap. Like, buy me the North Face backpack. Like, that was like literally a fight that we had. Like, I was like, I need this North Face backpack. And I just, yeah, he was such a saver. He'd be like, you don't need. Like,
He's like, no tengo dinero.
like, I swear, when he hears this, he's gonna be like, oh my God, I remember that. Because I was like pissed. I was like, it's a backpack. I need it for school. Like,
That's how my dad would do stuff like that and be like, no, just get the what is it, JanSport, you know?
yeah, but my parents are very different in that sense where like my parents are both. So I think this is where it's like weird for me because both my parents are like doing really well. Like they're fine, you know? Now, my parents, I didn't have money like growing up. Like when I was like born, when I was like 5, we like slowly went and like my parents did a little better and moved into like a bigger house. Like every time we moved, we were moving every 4 years. And every time we moved, I remember it was like a bigger house and a bigger house and a bigger house. And like, and so I didn't like have money when I was little. And then like, you know, now it's different, but I feel like back then I just saw like 2 different people and I feel like they were probably making the same amount of money. They were both working full time, but my dad just was a saver and like wouldn't spend and wouldn't buy like, I mean, I wasn't getting designer clothes, but like expensive clothes or wouldn't shop as much. And he would be like, you don't need like 3 pairs of sneakers or you don't need like all these new clothes. And so my mom was more of like, well, I work hard and I want to like buy that and I like that and I want to spend my money on things that like I enjoy or whatever. And she just enjoyed shopping. So in that sense, like their perspective on money, I feel like was probably confusing for me because I was like, you guys probably make the same amount of money. Like, but then with my dad, it's like we would go out to eat every single time I was with him. So I'd be like, all right, well, you have money to spend on this. And so it was like, for me, it was more so like, now that I think about it, it's like they were like living their rich life. My dad will always say, like my dad would take us to Disney and take us to like go out, like again, out to eat every time we were with him. So it was like they were just living like their rich lives. And my dad will always say, I like to spend money on experiences and like that type of stuff. So like going out to eat with your family, going on vacation with your family. My mom was more like, I like to go shopping and do this and whatever. So they were just different in that sense, but I don't really know. I think it did have an effect on me because I think that for a really long time I was like, my mom, like I'm a shopper. I'm like for a really long time I was like my dad, and then I was like my mom. And then now I feel like I'm a little bit like in my like dad era again where I'm just like not really into shopping. But last year when I was in Dallas, I was like fully in my mom, like shopping, designer, just
Shop
like,
until
money.
you drop.
Yeah. So I'm sure it had like
I remember
big effect on me.
Remember when we were having that conversation and they were telling your mom, oh, we're talking about people who buy, like a Gucci or a Prada and they only wear it once and they take care of it. She goes, oh, no, this is no good. She's like, you buy it, you gotta wear it.
Yeah, no, and so actually,
that's my father because I'll buy.
Probably,
of course,
I'll buy something and I won't use it. I'll be like, oh my God, like.
Of course, I'll buy. Well, my father, if he bought something, if you got a stain on there, or something, he'd be like, what are you doing? You don't appreciate money and yada yada. So, yeah, growing up now, I take care of my shit.
Energy. So. I used to be like that.
I thought clean money energy, you said, is the opposite when you buy shit and just like throw it around.
Yes. So
which I think that's dirty money energy.
No. So I used to be like that where I would get like nice shit and then I'd be like, I don't want to like use it. Like, I don't know. I would be like nervous to like open it or like use it. And then, so Sam is the one who made me realize like she was like, you have such clean money energy. She told me that she was like talking to like her therapist about it or whatever. Because she's like, yeah, like we have like the same designer, like Louis bag. And she'd be like, Nicole would just like bring that shit to Equinox, like throw it in the locker, throw it here, throw it there, throw it in the
Unacceptable.
No, but babe, it's meant to be there. If I'm spending $2,500 on a fucking purse, I'm using it. And it's like, it's good quality. It's going to last. I've treated all my designer bags like, just like my work bag, like a work bag. Like I'm
That's
not like,
good.
oh my
God,
God,
you bought it. You should.
And it's in like
it.
they're all in good, but it's not even about enjoying it. It's about I enjoy. I use it every single day, both bags, but it's good quality, so it lasts. If it was bad quality, I wouldn't have spent the money on it.
Yeah.
Like look at it.
I like to buy. I have that concept, or I like to buy, like 5 nice things, and then try to not use them as much and keep them good. Keep them clean.
Yeah. No, my mom definitely has that like clean money energy where she's just like, yeah, if you buy it, like use it. That's the point. You're spending all this money on it. Like, why wouldn't you?
Clean money energy.
Mm-hmm. And I
It's a
think that
first.
what it means, it's like whatever you spend is gonna like come back to you. Isn't that what it means?
I guess. I don't
Like
know. I guess.
I wouldn't be and I get this from my mom for sure. Like she's not like a careless spender. I feel like she is very big on like you can always make more money. Like she's not scared to spend money. There's people that like don't live because they're like they have such a bad relationship with money that they're just like they could be rich or be doing so well and they always just are like scared or feel like it's the end of the world or like they just are not gonna have money one day so they have to save it. I have a lot of friends that like now that we're older and we talk about just like money and like our money habits and like our mindset on money is now that I think about it, it's like yeah, we've talked about so much how like their parents have had so many like so much trauma with money that it's like engraved into them. So now they're scared. Like I have friends who literally are making
For sure.
over 6 figures a year and feels like she has nothing. And I'm like, you're doing, she's like 23 years old and she's doing better than like what I was doing at 23 years old. And so, but she has this like scared like mentality around money. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what your parents go through
100%.
affects you.
100%.
Yeah.
If you grow up with a father who's just blowing money and not, most likely you're going to grow up with that relationship.
Because I feel like I blow money, but then I also am like, then I want to save money, and then I go through like my eras. Of,
Yeah,
like,
my
being,
mom
like,
blows
my mom.
money. My money, though.
I want to blow your money.
You do. Depending on how upset you are.
Yeah. Keep me happy. You could keep your
Blew
money.
a bunch when I was in the Bahamas. Next question.
Next question is, when did you ultimately develop your perception of money and what does it mean to you?
I think that goes back to when I was younger, too. The same as all the other answers. My perception of money was, growing up and seeing older people or just people with money, as I mentioned, and seeing the effect or how people treat them differently or how they were different in society kind of warped my perception, mixed or fusioned with my father's a little bit negative relationship with money. I kind of always felt, oh, we'll never have money, we're just whatever. So my perception of money, what is it
When did you ultimately develop your perception of money and what does it mean to you?
That's a really tough question. I don't know. Ultimately,
I almost feel like I haven't developed like my full like.
I think I
perception of
ultimately
money.
developed my perception of money when I started to make a lot or the most I made. Because then it was like, I always thought the more money you make, the happier you were. It's complete fucking nonsense. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the more money you make, the sadder you are, depending, on where you are in your life. Yeah. We'll get into that study, which is actually great. It talks about that and explains that. But yeah, I think when I was a kid, my perception of money was it was really, really hard to get. You had to hang on to it. You had to keep it. And, it just meant like something serious and sacred,
Yeah, I feel like I'm still like developing it because it was very different when I was a kid. Because I do remember when I was a kid that like I said, my parents didn't like have the money that they do now. Not that they have a lot of money, but like it was very different when I was younger to like where they were when I was like in high school. Like I would get a little bit more money or college where they would send me money every week, when I was living alone. So I feel like growing up, it was very different where it was like, oh my God, I was like scared to ask for money. Or just I didn't really get money or I don't know. I think it develops over time and I feel like I'm still figuring it out because
and it changes I think over time too.
And then when you make more money, you also realize what's important and what like
right, but also when you make a lot of money, your perception becomes like this shit's easy. I could just make, you know what I mean? So I agree with you on that. It changes, it morphs, over time.
Yeah, I think definitely the biggest thing about money right now, like where I am right now is you can always make more money. Like you can always make more money.
Yeah.
It's on you if you want to keep spending your money or saving your money or like blowing it, whatever. But I think you can always make more money. And I think that makes just life in general less scary because we do live in a world where we need money for everything. So it's like my perception of money is that it's just like a tool to enhance like your everyday life.
I'm going to tell you where I think people get jammed up, though, is yes, you can always make more money, but, when you're living a certain lifestyle and you lose it, starting over from scratch and giving up that lifestyle, I think is what really, really scares people. But yeah, you could always make more money, but
that's the thing. If you're living a lifestyle that's like using 100% of your paycheck, then
right. I mean, we know that.
Yeah, but so many people do that. If you make,
you can make. What I'm saying
I've done that a million times. Like you make more money, you spend more money. You make more money, go on more vacations. You make more money, you buy more designer.
You can make yes, depending on what you're making money doing and how you're making money. But the negative connotation I think around that would be, yeah, you could, what if you go broke, right? And then you just, you can make more money, but you got to start from scratch, and you got to, I think it's easier said than done. You can make more money, but it's not like if you make $1 million. Hold on, hear me.
It's going to be really hard.
Hear me. Yeah, if you make $1 million and then you lose half of it, you blow it. Yeah, you can make more money. You can't make $1 million damn dollars. It's hard, So it depends.
I think you can. It's just a lot of hard work. I think anyone can make money if they're putting in the work.
Yes, but what I'm saying is I think that what you're saying is correct. It just depends on the amount of money. But I guess it's different for everyone, right? Like if Grant Cardone goes broke, I'm sure he has a loophole, or he could make more money.
He had a show where it's like,
I think he did go broke.
I forget, yeah. I mean, we know people that have gone broke, bankrupt, everything, and now they're millionaires. Like,
right. But imagine, in that time of their life, it wasn't as simple as, we could get it back. It was like, all right, we got to grind hard. We get it back. But I don't think it's that easy. It's easier said than done. That's it.
Yeah, but no one said it was easy. I think it's just that you could always make more money.
Right. I think it's easy.
I don't think making money is ever going to be easy. You have to work for it.
I think that mentality might be, well, it would be, I love that mentality, but it would be bad for me because, I think it's negative because to be like, oh, I can make it again. I feel like you should just make it. And, just keep making it and act like you can't make it again.
I didn't say you can't make it again. I said you could always make more money. Yeah. So for me, what that means to me is like, if I'm doing like, okay, right now, like, we're comfortable, whatever, it's like, and like, I want more. It's like, okay, great. Like if you want more, you work for it and you can always make more money. To me, it's just more like there's unlimited amounts of
resources
money out there to be made. And if you want it, you can have it. And if you don't want it and you want to live a more like just comfortable, like you love your life and just like how it is, whatever, then you do that. There's people, that's why like I really feel like these books and stuff are like so good to read because it says like, what would you be comfortable at? What would each individual person what would they be comfortable at? What would you be comfortable retiring at? So it's going to be very different. It all depends on the individual person. But if you wanted a little more or whatever the case is, there's always that opportunity to make more money. I think there's millions of ways to make money. There's obviously going to be ways to like work smarter, not harder, whatever. But either way, you can still make good money working harder, and you could make a lot of money working smarter, not harder.
You can make more money. The real question is how much of it can you keep? How much of it can you save?
That's the most important part for sure.
So,
do you believe money is the root of all evil? No.
I want to say, go ahead. You go.
I was just going to say no. I view money as a tool. Like I literally view money as a tool. Like people say money doesn't buy happiness. No, but it's 2023, like about to be 2024. We live in America. Like you need to pay for everything. You literally have to pay for almost everything. And I think it's just a tool, and it makes life a lot fucking easier. Like a lot easier than if you don't have money.
I want to say, I do think money is the root of all evil. I think that when you mix people with money, right, it becomes that way. But if you look at, historically, wars and pandemics and all that shit, it all stems and all is the root of it is money, right, and greed. So I do want to say, yes, money is the root of all evil just because I've seen how people act with it. I've seen friends screw me over, right, or screw other people over. I've seen women screw men over.
I've seen that too, but
That's why I say it's the root of all evil, because it's where again, if you're a bad person,
I was gonna say, if you're a bad person, you can.
But you don't always. I've seen people who are good go bad, for money, just in the situation they were in.
Well, there's a quote that I hear, again, these like gurus that I follow online, that's like, money will just enhance who you already are. So if you're a good person,
absolutely,
like if you're a good person, it'll just like amplify that. Like you'll donate more, you're generous, you're, you know what I mean?
When I started,
people, whatever the fuck it is. But if you're already like, even if there's people who are broke and they're just like stingy and this and that, it's like, or whatever the case may be, it just enhances, amplifies like who you already are. So it's like, if you're a shitty person and you start to get a lot of money, you're just going to be a shittier person with like a platform and money. If you're a good person, you're going to use that money, like Ed Milet, like Jesse Lee. They all like do good things with their money. They donate, they give back, they do a ton of shit. Some of them don't even have to fucking work, but they do because they just want to give back and help others.
Money is power, and it's also freedom. But I know when I started making money, I turned into Oprah. I was like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a bag. Gucci for you.
That was like me in high school when I didn't even have that much money. Like, I was just like, oh my God, like, we can all go out to eat every single
it does.
day.
I guess it does really magnify who you are as a person. But some, again, one-offs do get that big head, or, do act a little different. But like you said, they might have been insecure prior to having money, and it just kind of magnified that insecurity. Because when you're like a rich cornball, it's like nobody likes you. They just like your money. Yeah, that was a good one.
Does money buy happiness? Here's what the research says.
Foundational work published in 2010 from Princeton University had found that day-to-day happiness rose as annual income increased, but above $75,000. They always say this. It leveled off and happiness plateaued. They always, everything you read always 75,000. In contrast, work published in 2021 from University of Pennsylvania found that happiness rose steadily with income well beyond 75,000 without evidence of plateau.
It says, in the simplest terms, this suggests that for most people with larger incomes are associated with greater happiness. I've actually like seen studies on this where it's like, yes, the more you make, like the happier you are. Again, there's exceptions always. We hear stories on
there's
the
exceptions
news.
to the rules, of course.
Yeah.
Most rich people aren't the happiest, but yes, it's very situational. I was just listening to that. I was listening to the Lil Wayne song when I came over. He said, "You can't be broke and happy." So me, I'm mad rich. I love that.
But I don't think you can be broke and happy. I don't think you can be like struggling.
No,
to pay
see,
bills and happy.
I think that's false.
No,
just because the brokest people I know is the happiest son of a guns.
But are they struggling with bills, or are they living within their means, in the comfort?
Yeah, I get
so
I get it.
Might be like, oh, you live in like a tiny, like one bedroom, whatever. But that one bedroom might be like, that's all they need. They don't need like a big ass house. They don't need like a big old backyard. I think it's like relevant to people because if they're struggling to pay bills, babe, you can't like. How do you buy food? Or if you're starving, you can't be happy. If you're like literally, but because someone lives in like a small apartment or only makes $40,000 a year does not mean they're broke. They can make $20,000 a year. I'm just saying, broke,
and it's not necessarily.
And they can be very happy.
It doesn't have to be broke. It just means, not as well off, right?
These
like
are all opinions,
simple, living simple. A lot of people don't need, this stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
I remember
if I made $20,000 a year. And I just had my little apartment, and I was comfortable with that, and that's all I needed to make me happy. My dog, my little $1,000 a month apartment or whatever, and that $30,000 a year or whatever. I just then I could be happy. I knew a kid. I could be living thriving, but like it depends on the person.
I knew a kid that made like $30,000. I think maybe $35,000. This was in maybe 2012 or something. And he had like 2 kids, a girl, supported and he was just, it's a lot of money I save. I'm like, but how? There's no way, right? And he's simple. He obviously has it down, like you said, and I guess.
Yeah, like if you think about it, it just, again, and this could be like where we come from, or like we want to do like better than our parents did because they inspired us. But we've even had this conversation where like we both have good jobs and we're like, oh my God, like we want the best for our kid. Like we want to do better. We want to do better. It's like, babe. And then I even said, I'm like, Nick, there's people who literally make $40,000 a year.
Yeah, but
and I'm like, 2 kids. Do I want that life? No, I don't. Because I know myself. I'm in
sales though. It's commission. So, you know, you don't close a deal, you have no money. So it's a little more, you know, anxiety ridden for me when it comes to money, just because you could make buku bucks one month and zero the next month. So it's a little bit different, right? You have kind of that salary mindset where you're doing well, you're making a lot of money, and you're chilling. But I got to eat what I kill.
I got to eat what I kill.
And I ain't happy, son.
I'm in sales, too.
You can't be broke and happy. So me, I'm mad rich.
But I have to sell my services, too. So it's like, technically it's sales. I just can get people.
Yeah, you can get people to do anything you want.
Okay, but...
Anyways, that was a really good.
The more money you have, the happier you are. I think that makes sense to me.
It does make sense.
You're going to be stressed if you don't have money to pay bills. I'd be fucking stressed if I didn't have money to pay bills.
Yeah, I was just being transparent. I was miserable. Yeah, when I was working 3 jobs, you know, I don't know, but I feel like I lived simple. But I just never had money. I don't know shit.
Such a diva.
No. You did not know me when I was working 3 jobs, going to school. I feel like I really did live.
You're gonna tell me you didn't have like Jordans?
Not to that extent. Absolutely not. But it was just, you know, shit costs money. Yes. Shit is expensive. I don't know. Like my mom would say, where did they get the money from, Nicholas?
I definitely think more money, it's a tool. It's literally a tool. You can help people. Like I don't think like, oh, just be like selfish and more money and more this and more designer and more whatever, bigger house. No, it's like
happiness is family and love. You know, money definitely strengthens that. Sure. Life without money or with very little money, you can still be happy. There's many people that are happier than rich people, but ultimately, I think, you just when you're more comfortable, you're more happy.
I think it's fixing your relationship with money too.
That's 100%. Yes, your relationship with money.
Like us being like, oh my God, like stressed probably because we always saw our parents stressed. Like,
right?
And my mom till this day, babe, and I always make fun of her. And I'm like, my mom till this day, she'd be like, because I'm like so broke. Like you probably heard me on the phone. Like you're not fucking broke. Like she'll say that till this day, and I'm like, she makes more money than me probably. And I'm like, there's no like, and it's just like a mindset thing. And I'm like, and she probably got it from her parents. So to me, that's probably why I'm like, you know, we're obviously doing well. And I'm like, oh my God, like we need to do more. Or, like we need this, we need that. Because to her, it's like she has that mentality. She's like, she's like, I'm still broke.
That book I read, she got that mindset of, you got to tell yourself that.
My dad's like, you know, like
that probably helps her save though. That helps you save when you have that mindset. You know what I mean? For some people,
she's
that book
really hard worker though. She retired, and she's like retired. Worked more than she's like ever.
She's the hardest working retired person I ever met. In my
life.
Know. That book I read, The Way It Was, about Frank Sinatra. The guy was saying in it, he was saying something about, I don't know if he was going broke or the theater, the investment he had done was kind of going down, and he was stressing about money, but then. You know, he basically said he knows that money is only as good as your relationship. If you think you're broke or if you think you're going broke, you will go broke. Mm-hmm. He was explaining how money is just a mindset. Like if you're afraid of going broke, you're going to go broke. If you think you're broke, you're going to go, you know, it's just a mindset and a relationship thing. I agree, because
you know how big I am into like manifesting. And I always say that. Like, I'm like, money is abundant. Like, I will attract all the money in the world that I want, like when I want it. And it's just like thinking that way. Because for the most part, it's like I had, especially this whole year where I like really took a step back in my business. I like had a totally different mindset than like when you met me. You were like, yeah, you were all about work. And I had this like mindset, like I'll get any client I want. I'll do this, I'll do that. And I did. And then
Right,
this
'cause
year
you
I was
wanted
like,
to. It
I don't
wasn't
want anyone. I like don't want to do anything. Like I just wanted to just like
right. So
I
it
don't know what's
it
going
wasn't about the money for you. That's the thing. That's where you have to realize the separation for you. It wasn't like most people do what you do, and they're like, "Yo, I'm getting money." All you were talking about was the work aspect, and you actually love what you do. So for you, it wasn't like more money. You got burnt out, because it's too much work. It for you living your lifestyle, making however much you want. If that was what you want to do, the goal was money, you'd still be doing it. You wouldn't be burnt out because you're just, I know so many people. I look at them, I'm like, how are you not burnt out? And they're not, because that's what they need to make that. Not burnt out. They're working. That's what you got to do, to work. But for you, I think you love it so much. But yeah, it's so much work and so much time consuming, and you don't really care about the money. She got that clean money energy, kid.
But I do think I care about the money. I think I was just I think that had to do more than like with my business decisions, where I wasn't like hiring correctly. I was like, I had a lot on my plate. I was traveling way too much. I think that's different because right now I'm in like a space where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to grow, but I'm like, I know what I need to have in place this time for me to be able to like scale and not burn out.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit different, but I do have that where I'm like, okay, it is about the money, because like at the end of the day, it's like I want to love my job, and I want to find something that will make me money that I enjoy doing. But I also like it's about money, because like if it wasn't, then no one would work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm just happy that I get to choose to do something that I love to do, that I find fascinating, that's like an ever-changing industry. And so it doesn't get boring for me. And I had the flexibility to be like, okay, I'm not like happy right now. Let me like pivot this, like take a step back. And now I'm like really trying to like figure out.
So would you say that more money didn't bring you more happiness?
It did bring me more happiness.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Speaking about money, what's next on the bill?
I did. I burnt out, but I was happy in Dallas. Like I was chilling. I was traveling. I was doing a ton of shit. What's the best piece of advice you have received about money?
Best piece of advice? You could go if you have.
I was just going to say that you can make more money. Just have like a clean money energy that like there is money to be made. End of story. And I think it's because I just have heard so many stories of like my friends' parents, like they got like their mom got cheated on, and then they just like broke up and they had nothing. And I'm like, that scares me. That I'm like, I would never put myself in a situation like that. And I feel like people stay in situations or stay in relationships that are like toxic, abusive, whatever. Like I feel like something that's like so important to me is that like, yes, you can always make money.
What's the best piece of advice you got?
That you can always make money.
Oh, that you could always make money.
Yeah. Like you can make money, I can make money. There's like, you don't need someone to like, you know what I mean? Or you don't need to stay in a situation that like you don't want to be in, whether it's a job. It doesn't have to be a toxic relationship. It could be a job where your boss doesn't treat you right. It could be, if your coworkers, like you don't like it, or your commute's too long and you're miserable and you don't have enough time with your family. Like whatever it is, the best piece of advice I feel like is there's so many different ways to make money. There's, like you just have to like believe it and then just work hard and do it. Whether it's like you take the risk, start your own business so you can like have more time with your family. I've had so many friends that have done that. And then I like check in with them and they're like, scariest decision ever, or like they got laid off and they were like, that was fucking horrible, and they thought it was gonna be the end of the world, but then it like turned out that like that was like the push they needed or whatever. There's just a million ways to make money, and I feel like again, money is a tool and it can really help you, whether that's to spend more time with your family, to get out of a situation where you feel like you're with someone, depending on someone, whatever that situation is.
I think the best thing I've ever heard from Jim Rohn was he said, learn how to save more money than you make. In terms of the best advice, I don't know.
I mean, I guess that would probably be my second piece is like save your money. And I'm saying that to myself because I'm a spender for sure.
A wise man once told me, you know how to make money? No money. Meaning when you don't have money, all you can fucking do is make money. I don't know. I really don't think people have given me
best piece
good
of
advice.
advice.
I don't know.
In the cold plunge, I asked you what's the best piece of advice you received, and you said make more money.
I said get money.
Oh, get money.
I want to say
get money. That's basically what mine was.
Yeah, but that's not really. I really know there is, but I'm kind of drawing a blank. Give me.
I think saving.
Yeah, saving
Your money is important because I don't like and right now especially like I get a lot of my information from social media, but right now just like the economy we're in and everything, like there's so many stories that are being shared online about how the richest people are just like so fucking broke right now because yeah, they made so much more money and had their best years the last 5 years, but they also bought bigger houses, got nicer cars, got the watches, got the like, and then now they don't, you know what I mean? So it's just really save money.
Yeah, save.
Pay yourself first. I read that book. I think it's called Pay Yourself First.
I've gotten good advice. I'm talking about from a person or that question, but yeah, I've gotten good advice. I just drawing a blank.
What would be your goal to teach your kid about money?
How to save, the value of it, right? I heard a rich guy, billionaire. They were like, "You're a billionaire. How do your kids not spend all your money?" He said, "I give my kids whatever it was. Let's say $100 a week. He has them on like a salary, and when they go to the store, they're like, 'Oh, Dad, I want that.' You got the money, buy it." So they'll look at their money and be like, "Damn, I got 200. That's 300. Nah, I can't afford it, Dad." It's like, to me, that was dope because they're like, they know the value of their money. He's like, "I'm not buying it. You have your own money. I'm giving you it." So I would, saving the value of it, that it's not everything. And just build a good relationship with him and money, confidence around it.
Yeah. Like a healthy money mindset.
And not just think money grows on trees.
And invest.
Right? Yeah.
Save
Nicole feels the same way. On to the next. We're going to do, guys, a part 2, maybe even 3 of this. Is a good topic. It's a really good topic, and we're going to explore and expand on it. You want to take us out, or you want me to take us out?
Take us out. That's your job.
Episode 5 of the Mr. and Mrs. podcast. We love you guys. Thank you for all the support. We hit over 100,000 views on, what is it, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram? TikTok. So like, comment, share, subscribe, please.
Jess.
Episode 5.
Leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify.
And again, this is not legal advice.
Save your money.
Save your money, please.
Invest your money. Buy a book.
High yield savings account. Hit me up for more info.
Follow your rich BFF on Instagram.
Mr. and Mrs. Cap podcast, episode 5. Woo!
Mr. and Mrs. Cap.
Oh!